So I'm in the middle of writing this article on how to find Sacramento jobs hiring full time right now. I'm in the process of shooting the video. So by the time you're watching this, you can probably go ahead and click the link in the description and actually see this video on there too. But really what I want to do on this video specifically is I do want to open up some sites. I want to share with you my process of how I find, specifically in Sacramento, how to find those full-time jobs here that the employers are looking to hire you for. And I'm going to share with you how to stand out, not only how to get a bunch of calls, but also how to be able to just kind of breeze through the application process and be able to get a job. Really took me like 4 days, but it might take you a week. It might take you a couple weeks. It might take you a few weeks, depending on the way that you do things. Because as you can see, I'm here in my home office right now. I've got like this whiteboard that's always got this writing on there. In fact, you can kind of see like just some weird stuff. Like it's like $100,000 per month. That's not like an income claim. That's not like I haven't done like $100,000 in a single month yet. It's just like one of my personal goals. You can see that I have a bunch of personal development books. I haven't read quite all of them. I've read most of them. And in fact, you can probably subconsciously feel as you're watching this video that there's probably something, there's like maybe an air of confidence that I have that you might not know everything about me, but you can kind of sense that there's something special there. And it's one of the reasons why when I put out an application, I get tons of calls. Like I've never had a problem with someone hiring me. And I promise you that as you're watching this video, I want to kind of completely just kind of tear away all the objections. And it has nothing to do with your name. So if you've got like a weird name that might not be a name that you think should get called, right? Like I know some of you, it might have to do like with skin color. You might think maybe because like you have a certain skin color, you're not getting called, right? You might think because you're a certain gender, you might not get called, or maybe because like you're a certain sexual orientation, you might not get called. Maybe because you're a veteran, you might not get called. Maybe you're on disability, you might not get called. I promise you it has nothing to do with that. And there's a way to easily kind of break through the mold, break through a way of standing out. And I'm going to show you how to do it inside of this video. And I'm going to show you a simple action step that you can do using a few key websites and a few key ways that you can actually go out there and absolutely crush it. I think this is going to be one of the most valuable videos for you if you decide to share it and if you decide to implement it. So actually, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. One of the things that I'm going to pop up right away is, so I'm going to start off right on Indeed. So again, I'm here in Sacramento, California. Let's go ahead and say my zip code is 95825. So like right around like the Arden area, you know. Let's go ahead and find jobs. So I click on find jobs. So let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger for you. So what I'm going to do, let's say that I want to work here. Well, I am someone that I kind of want to work on my terms. So I don't want to go and travel like 100 miles out. I'm the type of person, I like, if I'm going to work a job, it's got to be like in a few miles. like I want to be able to walk to work if possible. Maybe 5-10 miles, like something close. So let's actually do this. Let's go down and minimize this. So we come to distance and let's go. I could do 5 miles, but in this case, just to get more listings, I'll do like 10 miles, right? And in fact, I'm not going to organize it by any other way. So what I'm looking for is like these easy apply here. So, I mean, you also want to understand your niche. So you might not want to be a delivery driver, but really, I mean, you could actually look, I mean, you might not have the qualifications to be like a labor and employment attorney, but you just like look through. And so some of the things that you might be able to qualify for is you might be someone who can help out with customer service. You might be someone who can help out with sales. You might be someone who can help out with tech support. You might be someone that can help out with anything that says entry level, right? So entry level background investigator. You might be able to help out if you are like an assistant, like you're a legal assistant. You might be able to help out. There's like tons of different niches that you can be a part of, that if you have absolutely no experience, like data entry specialist, like here's another one. So I'm just kind of going through the list, just browsing through, and I'm going to share with you just to get you some ideas and get you thinking about what type of stuff is out there. For instance, if I go to like to Craigslist or something, and right here I've got all jobs. Let's actually go to the main Craigslist. So let's go to this job section up here. And you can kind of see, like, so we have these different topics like admin assistant, we have business management, we've got, and I'm just kind of thinking generally, like if you don't have any skills, where the first place you can start, like maybe you're a college student and you don't have a bunch of things on your resume, where can you start? You could probably start in government, you could probably start in general labor, you could probably start in food, beverage, hospitality, you can probably start in retail, wholesale, you could start in sales, you could probably even start in real estate, you could probably start in marketing, you can probably start in like sales or You could probably even start in a skilled trade, like, so there might be like entry level. In fact, that might be one of the things that you could actually type in, is you could type in entry level, and you would be able to go entry level in jobs just like that and pull up everything here and just kind of go through like the listings, like one by one, entry level technical or technicians. Now this only pays like $12.50 an hour. This is kind of one of the reasons why I stay away from Craigslist, because Craigslist is usually the people who are on a budget. It's like the employers that are on a budget because they don't want to pay like some of the premium prices that it takes to advertise in Indeed. And if they can't pay those premium prices, what makes you think that they're going to be able to pay you? So like posting on Craigslist, it's usually like 25 or 35 bucks a posting. And on Indeed, it's a little bit more expensive than that. So I want you to really think about that. If you want to get paid more, why don't you actually look on the sites where the employers are already paying a little bit more money? Because if they are willing to pay that money to bring on good people, then chances are you want to work with the employers that have a little bit more money that can support the lifestyle that you want to live for what you want to do. So typically I'll stay with like Indeed. So here's what I'll do that is a little bit different than everyone else. What I'll do is I will do a custom resume, right? So let's say you don't have the experience, you're a college student. Then what are some things you have done in the past? Have you done volunteer work? Have you maybe ran a home business? Maybe have you tried to do some side entrepreneurship adventure? Have you maybe helped someone out in the past? Well, those are all things that you can include on your resume. It doesn't have to be like some Yale University, some Harvard, like it has to be structured a certain way. No, your resume is your resume. You can put whatever you want on your resume. It doesn't have to be done a certain way. It doesn't have to have a certain structure. It's your resume. You can do whatever you want to do with it. So why not treat it like a sales letter? Why not treat it as if you're selling yourself as a reason for like an employer to want to hire you? You can actually be able to step out of the mold, be 100% different, and just from someone looking at your resume and saying, well, what the heck is this? That is a way to, number one, it's a way to break state. That means someone has to pay attention. They have to realize what's going on. And then once you have attention, that means now is your time to start selling. And so now you just come up with unique creative angles of why someone should hire you. So you can put whatever you want on your resume. Now, here is what's a little bit different about me is I don't just create one resume. What I do is I create one kind of core resume. And then what I do is, let's say for every single job listing, I will tailor my resume. So like, for instance, I don't know, I'm just going to look at some random ones. So like this barista, I personally wouldn't want to work at Starbucks, but my resume would actually be geared as if I was going to work at Starbucks. Like everything would be like Starbucks, like focused, right? If I was going to be this junior tester, I don't know exactly what that is, like, right? So like the CGI, it would be tailored to that. If I was going to work at Victoria's Secret, now, I'm not going to work at Victoria's Secret, right? But if I did, I would actually tailor my resume to work at Victoria's Secret. Or if I was going to be a warehouse associate, I would tailor my resume to be to that. And here's what I really want you to understand is that when you're editing a resume, you probably have like a Word document. You can open up Word and you would be able to pretty much like how quick is it to change out keywords? Like it takes seconds to minutes. It could even take like 10 minutes. Like if you're actually going in there and you're really customizing everything and customizing all the verbiage, maybe placing out like some of the other places that you've worked in the past and putting the ones that actually make sense for you so that way you can take the benefits of that job and actually sell it to the potential employer. It takes like minutes. It really does not take that long. So what you do is you actually create a file on your computer with all of the different custom resumes that you've created. And then what I do is I name the file of the job. So I might name it like the date and I put like the year first. This is what I learned working in like an attorney's office. So the way that they have it organized is they have it like the year, the month, and the date. So the year, the month, and the date. And then you might have like in parentheses, like maybe your name. So like maybe your last name first. So like for me, it'd be like Kane, comma, Brian, like in parentheses, make it look really professional. And then you might have maybe the title or like the name of the company that you're applying for, so that way you know who you applied for, so that way when they call, you can quickly pull up that resume and you know exactly what they're looking at, and you're not like just stuck. You're not like stumbling and fumbling like a bumblebee. You actually know what they're calling for, and you can answer their questions appropriately because you know what they have. You can pull it up very, very, very quickly. Here's the other thing that I do, and this is very different than everyone else, is I do a cover letter. And you might say, well, Brian, I've heard that like a million times. Like, I know I should do a cover letter. I know I should do a cover letter. I know I should do a cover letter. But here's the thing. Like, as someone who's actually put out job listings before and who's gone through like the hiring and firing process, I promise you, I've received I've received possibly even thousands of resumes that have come in, and I guarantee you, almost nobody, like nada, like employers, if you're on the line, you're probably looking at this video and you can probably relate to me that who does a cover letter in 2018? Who does one? It's like no one, right? I mean, it might be more common, like if you're someone and you've got like this very specialized skill and you're trying to get into this very specialized position and you know that the only way that they're going to accept you is if you do a cover letter for like this big corporate company that they've got all these laws and procedures and however they do their determination of how to hire you, right? You could do that. But why don't you just do it with everyone? Like, why don't you just do it with everyone? If you know that like out of hundreds, possibly thousands of people that send in resumes to like all these sites, like, I mean, let's be honest. Who's going to do a cover letter to work at Victoria's Secret? Who's going to do a cover letter to work at Starbucks? Now, these are kind of laughable examples, but when you start working with like even just like small business owners, when you start working with some of the other companies that are actually really moving forward, or some of the maybe like for instance like some tech companies that they're going to blow up and do like they're going to be $1 billion company, right? And they're just getting started or something, but they've got all the financial backing to do it, and they're just getting all the systems and the processes in place, and they've got the experience, maybe they've done it in the past, and they're just doing it all over again. Well, why wouldn't you do a cover letter? Why would you not? But the truth is most people don't. So how easy is it to stand out? But let me tell you this. Most people that do a cover letter, here's what they do. Here, I'll show you what most people who don't do a cover letter do, and then they say it don't work, right? They do this. They come over to Google. So they come over to Google just like that, and then they type in cover letter examples, just like this. And then what they do is they go, I don't know, 31 attention-grabbing cover letter examples, right? So they go on a page like this, and then they get some ideas, and so eventually after like browsing and clicking after a while, then you have like some free downloads. So then what you do is they go and they say, you know what, I'm going to be in customer service, retail, hospitality. So then they do this. They're like, okay, I'm going to do it for a sales associate, right? So then what I do is I pull this up, and then what they do is they just like download this form. Maybe they pay for it, and then that's their resume, and then they get a cover letter. Like they get some form of a cover letter off that, and then they put their name on it, and then they send it in. Employer gets it, reads it, says, this is the most bullshit fucking thing that I've ever seen. Like, who would even like send this to me? Like, you know, like I don't even understand. I wouldn't even call this a cover letter, and you just toss it aside. Like, I'm not, like, if they're gonna spend like seconds just to go and pay some service to write some bullshit for me to read, so that way I can spend my time going through bullshit, I'm not gonna go through it. Just I might give you a call. I mean, to see if you're a nice person, but that's not what's gonna get my attention. You want to know what I do that's a little bit differently? Here's what I do that's a little bit differently. So when I write my cover letter, not only is my resume like a sales letter, my cover letter is also like a sales letter. But what I do is I do it from the heart. You got to put some heart, you got to put some effort into it. And you might think that, for instance, like if I'm going through like each site, and I know I'm kind of giving some real basic examples, and the reason why I'm doing that is just because there might be some college students that are kind of watching this video, and they might be repelled by some of the examples that I would love to show, right? So I'm really trying to do my best to cater to everyone in this video. But I believe that if you're a very experienced entrepreneur and maybe something happened in your life, you're watching this video and you're very awesome at sales, I think you'll get some value out of this video too, enough to share it. Here is the thing that you'll want to do with the cover letter is not only do you want to put heart into it, as if like where you came from and what you can do, and maybe some of your past experiences. Like for instance, with a company that I began working for, that I got hired at. So I'm not going to go into a full story. I was actually building a business. Something happened very drastic. Like it was very drastic, right? So so one of the ways that I figure out what's the fastest way to be able to get back on my feet and be able to get everything fixed very, very quickly is, you know what? I need something just to take care of the bills. I need something to create my lifestyle around, just some type of income, so that way I can create a business on the side and have that scale up. and just do it just like how I paid off like $30,000 in 9 months of debt the first time. And then I won't say what happened. I actually did something much bigger in like 60 days. It's a good story for later if you get to know who I am, right? But here's what happened. How did I get the job? How did I get it so fast? How did I get it so fast? What did I do that was so different? Well, one of the things that I did was, I remember just from like my entrepreneurship world, because I didn't have like a whole lot of experience like working at this specific company that I initially got hired at. It was for tech support. It was for tech support. I don't really have any tech support experience. But what I did was I said that I had spent like $25,000 for marketing education to go through just like a series of like coaching. And from that coaching, I was able to produce like a certain level of results that helped me build my business in a very certain way. And then what I also kind of shared was that I also was mentored by some millionaire mentors in the field and area of sales and got really good at personal development. I had to take care of my customers. And there's some other things that I'm not going to go into this video, but ultimately what I was able to do was in that cover letter, I was able to speak directly to this entrepreneur. I didn't know it was an entrepreneur. I just knew it was a company, but I knew that there's going to be an entrepreneur reading it at some point, or at least some high-level manager. I knew it was going to be one of the two. And I was going to try to speak to both of them in this cover letter. And so I did it from the heart, so that way they would begin to know, like, and trust who I was. Immediately, I would break state, so they would have to spend some time reading it and say, like, what the heck is this? Like, who the heck is this guy? Who the heck is this guy to do it like this? Because nobody does it like this. In fact, this is probably done the wrong way. But what is so intriguing about this? Because there's some science behind it, right? It might be the reason why you're watching this video, but check this out, is it wasn't just him. It wasn't just him. Because the way that I do resumes and the way that I do cover letters, and so if you get past the idea that I do it custom for each person and custom for each entrepreneur and custom for each business, what do I do that's a little bit differently that gets me multiple calls for months when I only put in like 48 hours of work? Like 48 hours of work gets me calls for months. Like I can't stop the calls. I can't stop the amount of people that want to hire me. Why is that? So here's what I do. I open up Word and I take my resume, I take my cover letter, and let's say that I was going to just go find like a random job listing. I come over to, I don't know, we can pick one. So like this, I don't know, we could do organic farm activist, right? I don't even know what that is, but it doesn't matter. I'll just do that one too. So this one on Indeed, some of these have like easy apply because they're just trying to get as many applications as they can because help is so hard to find that if someone, like look how many easy applies there are. For instance, like this physician recruiter, they probably don't have an easy apply because they want someone to spend some time doing it. But what happens is when you apply like on their company sites, have you ever been like on those resume sites where it's like you thought you were going to apply and it take like a couple minutes, but then it takes like hours. Like you got to go in, you already have your resume written, and then you have to go in and put like all the places that you worked like 5 different times on each person. And next thing you know, it takes like an hour and a half. Then you've got to go through an hour and a half assessment, like all this stuff. Do you know how many people actually go through that process? The number is a lot smaller than you think. It's a lot smaller than you think. Like it's just not a lot. Do you know what does get a lot though? Are these easy applies, because all you generally have to do is, like for instance, like if I come over to like Recruiter Driver and I click apply now, check this out. So all I do is I put my name, my email address, my phone number, and then what I do is you only upload a resume and then you upload a cover letter. But you don't put the cover letter here. What you do is you actually upload your resume and cover letter as one file in a PDF format, and I'll share why in a PDF format. And then what you do is you say your resume or your cover letter is attached with the file. That's all you do. So that way someone's forced to open up the file. And the reason why you want to have it as a PDF format is so that way it looks like that you spent time on it. Because if you send over a Word document, it looks like you might have been able to edit and custom tailor it on the fly. And someone can kind of tell that if it's in a Word document, it's a subconscious thought that you edited it on the fly before you sent to them because it seems way too custom tailored. But if you send it in a PDF format, what happens is you can't edit that text. You had to go and save the file, and someone kind of automatically knows that even if you did go and you edit the text like just for this company, then what happens is they understand that you had to go through some level of effort in order to get it to them. It wasn't something you just did in seconds. Or at least they don't know. Like, they don't know that, like, hey, Brian can actually work fast. They don't know that you can work fast. And so there's a subconscious thought that you spent time on just them. But what happens if you do this? What happens if you go just one by one and you go and you do a custom resume and cover letter? So you go and open up a Word document and you send it to them, and then you save the file on a computer, and then you open up the Word document and then you do it for them too. And then you save it as a PDF format, save it like as one of the files in your computer, and then you go and you do it for them. And you might think it takes a long time, but it doesn't. And the reason why it doesn't take a long time, or at least it shouldn't, is because if you do not procrastinate, if you do not let time pass by, and you just keep like, so you just kind of like, you're just aware of time passes as you do nothing, right? Time passes as you do nothing. And so if you collapse the time and just keep moving to the next step and 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 the next step, you look up above the water and then you realize how much you got done. And you realize that, oh shoot, like 24 hours ago, I just did like 50 custom resume and cover letters. And then the next day, as people are reading it, then you realize, oh shoot, my phone is ringing. Like, it's ringing. Like, I keep talking to all these employers that want to do interviews with me. That's crazy. Like, there was a time in my life where it's like, I was trying to apply for jobs and it seemed like no one would call me for like 3 years. No one would call me for 3 years. First of all, how many jobs do you even apply to? You say you applied to a lot. I bet you didn't put any effort. I bet you just threw some bullshit at them. Someone like looked at that paper and said it's bullshit. It wasn't your name. It wasn't your skin color. It wasn't your gender. It wasn't like any of that. They just took what you gave them and you gave them bullshit. And you cannot blame them for you giving them bullshit. You can't. You just can't. So if you know at the bottom of your heart, it takes maybe 5 to 15 minutes to do a custom resume and a custom cover letter. And let's say it took you a much longer time to at least get the foundation up, like just enough to be able to edit it. Wouldn't that be worth it? Like, are you losing money right now because you don't know how to build a business? Because you don't know how to get a job? I just told you how to get a job inside this video. I literally just told you. If you don't know, you can actually click the link in the description and actually go read the text form. Do you read? Like, do you read books? I mean, I'm not trying to get down on you if you don't read. I'm just trying to prove a point to you. I'm trying to prove a point that no one does this. No one knows how to get jobs here in Sacramento. And it's not even just Sacramento. If you're watching this video, you don't live in Sacramento, it's literally everywhere. No one knows how to do this. This is all part of personal development. There's a reason why, like in books like The Ultimate Team Building Formula, why I've actually been featured as a success story, as someone who builds businesses and actually like gets behind leaders who earn big checks. Like literally, right? There's a reason. There is a reason why I can do the same level of effort. Someone doesn't even have to watch one of these videos that I do, which is another thing. So if you do exactly what I say and you still don't get calls, then what I would do is I would follow up. And so I would, like, if you don't get calls, like, you do, like, 100 of these, like, in your first, like, 48 hours, and you're like, man, Brian, you told me what to do, I didn't get no calls. Then what you do next is you actually go do that same exact process, but now for every single one, you shoot a 3-minute video. A 3-minute YouTube video for each one. Make it unlisted and send it to each one. So right here, like where you go into like the Indeed. So now what you do is you come over here, you hit apply now, you put in your name, email, phone number, and now what you do is you put the cover letter and resume here. You say the cover letter is attached, but now you attach your YouTube link. Your YouTube link talking specifically to that company. So the name of my video would probably be, let's see if we go back. It would be Phoenix Resource Group. Like it might be, please watch this video, Phoenix Resource Group, or something along those lines, like something to where you're calling that company out specifically. They know it's specifically for them, and in the video you're talking to them specifically. Hey, what's going on? My name is Brian Kane, and the reason why I believe that you should watch this video is because chances are you've probably seen it more than anyone else that good people are hard to find. And I promise you, if you take a look at my resume and cover letter, not only are you going to see that things are done a little bit differently, you're probably going to see that there's a little bit of effort there. I mean, when was the last time that someone literally shot a custom video to you? It might have, like, you might have had one, It's possible. But I promise you that no one puts more effort than me. No one puts more effort than me. And who else in Sacramento are you going to hire right now, tomorrow, the next day, the next week, the next month, the next 6 months that's going to be better than me? You can't. Because no one knows in 2018 how to run a successful business. No one knows in 2018 how to be able to go out there and actually go study personal development because it's life skills. No one knows how to go out there and actually be able to communicate with real human beings. No one knows how to go out there and provide 5-star customer support. No one knows how to go out there and be able to show up and put effort more than anyone else other than me. And even if you don't like who I am because maybe you think I'm arrogant, I promise if you just give me a call, I think we'll have a great conversation. I think we'll connect. And if anything, I believe that the conversation that we have, I think will at least spark up your day. So that way you'll be a little bit more productive, because I have a good habit of lifting the people up around me. And I don't know about you, but I hope you see that through this video. Will you please give me a call? You do a video like that every single time, I promise you that you will get the job. And if you do that video and you might say, hey, like I did that video inside this video. I did that video inside this video. How long did that take? I don't think it took 3 minutes. It took a minute, 2 minutes. It's probably going to take you longer to press the record button and press the darn pause button. If you do that 50 to 100 times over the course of the next 48, 72 hours, how many calls will you get? Do not ever come back to me and complain that you didn't get a job. Do not ever come back and complain that you don't get any phone calls. Because if you do this process, I promise you that something is wrong with you. Not from the point that something's wrong with your skin color, something's wrong with how you look, something's wrong with the way that you speak, something's wrong with who you are as a person. What is probably missing is all that subconscious personal development that might be learned from possibly building a side business. That might be learned from reading books like The Science of Getting Rich. That's possibly learned that part-time outside of what you currently do, writing some weird stuff on the whiteboard because you have a plan for your life that is more than just show up to a job and live paycheck to paycheck for 40 hours a week for 40 years to retire on 40% less. Because if that's your goal, then ain't no one want to be around you. Nobody wants to be around someone who struggles all the time. No one wants to be around someone who is always claiming to be a victim. And what's funny is I'll probably get responses from this video of like those people that are like pretending to be the victim, that they just haven't snapped out of it and realized that they can take responsibility at any moment that they choose. And they'll be like, Brian, why'd you call me a victim? I'm like, what the hell? Like, how'd you watch this full video and think that you're the victim? Like, you know, like that's you. Like everywhere you go, there you are. And how you do anything is how you do everything. And probably if you are the person that even thinks, like you have some thought process coming into your mind from watching this video that is literally showing you the blueprint on how to get a job in probably the next like 4 days, like it did for me. Even when I had a low point, like I don't think you guys understand how much, like I lost. Like some of you are like, oh, I'm like $1,000 in debt. No. I did much more than that in like 60 days, right? I definitely had something that was working, and in seconds, I had paid off $30,000 in debt in 9 months, and I actually think I could have done it faster. I made some mistakes. I could do it faster now. And even then, once I got to that point of where it's like, I had success. 60 days, that was blown for me. 60 days, I had a business that was working, and then it stopped working. I was in a place where I just wish that no one really has a chance to go through what I went through. But for the people that do, and the people that have actually gone through worse, and you know who I'm talking about, you might have been through worse, then you've got a much bigger obstacle come. I've seen people go through a lot more, and they've gotten through it faster. They've gone through a lot more, and they've gotten through it faster. And if that's true, then that means I have no excuses. Because if they did it, I can do it. And if I can do it, you can do it. And you are probably the person that maybe you had more than me. Maybe you've had less, and maybe you're just drowning in a 3-foot pool, and you are wondering, well, what's the way out? And because like you just have not had so much struggle, you probably felt that you've probably been like drowning in a 3-foot pool for so long that you don't realize that other people that are actually swimming out there, like there's actually much bigger problems than what you're probably going through right now. You just haven't had a chance to experience them. And because you've never had a chance to experience what actual big problems are, then you've never had the chance to experience what big solutions are. So all you can see is this very short-sighted, like, I just don't really understand what would, like, if you watch this full video, I don't really understand how you could get to this point and still feel that you haven't gotten value. I just don't. You should be the person that if you're watching this video right now, not only would I want you to really understand who I am and possibly review my blog a little bit more, or if you're watching this on YouTube, maybe you don't want to do business with me in some business venture or whatnot, but here's what you should do. You should figure out how to even find me on Facebook or something. You should figure out how to get me in your circle. You should figure out how to become friends with me for a very long period of time, because there's probably something special that you sense just by watching this video and getting to this point and still continuing to watch it that you probably aren't getting anywhere else. And I promise you that there is something that can literally change overnight the second that you get it. I don't know if you ever heard of a book called The Secret. I haven't read the full thing. I haven't watched the full movie, but I'm telling you there's a secret. There's something that's going on in your unconscious mind, and there's certain things that you've got to take out first before you can then put in. Kind of like maybe a glass of water. Have you ever seen like those videos where it's like this dirty glass of water, and then like when you keep pouring in like the new water, like all that dirt like starts flushing out, and then after a while it becomes like a clear glass of water? That's probably what's going on with your mind. You've probably been so inundated with all of these drastic, horrible experiences that have kept you down for so long that you don't realize that there's actually clean water that you can actually put into your mind and actually flush that out and realize how clear you can actually be on getting the results that you want. Because what I promise you at the end of the day is it's probably not a job you're looking for. You're probably looking for freedom. You're probably looking to travel the world. You're probably looking to spend more time with your family, spend more time with your kids. You're probably looking to just be able to have the freedom to go out there and do what you want. And you might think that the remedy for that is to get a job. You might think that. And it might be for you. And what I promise you is that what's going to be attractive in the job world for employers is you having a game plan. For me, the game plan was not just to get a job, just to work it for the rest of my life. Here's what my game plan was that if I was going to hit a bottom, per se, and I was going to leverage a job to basically pay my bills while I go off and part-time outside what I do, possibly maybe spend some sleepless nights, maybe spend some nights where I don't get to hang out with the friends, building something on the side, so that way that scales itself up, and then it relinquishes my need for a job again. Then what happens is, not only do I have that in mind, but then I show up to my job and I think, man, everyone here is just phenomenal. Everyone here is very appreciated. Everyone here, they've got so many unique talents and skill sets that I would love to learn. But the best part is I'm not wasting my time figuring out how to find out what they know how to do. I'm literally getting paid like some type of wage. It could be hourly, it could be salary, it could be some type of other compensation that I am getting in regards to showing up, figuring out the best skill sets that other people have. They're literally teaching them to me so that way I can do and make their life easier, but they're teaching me skill sets that I can take away for the rest of my life. I can learn how to run a business. I can learn how to do the finances. I can learn how to manage employees. I can learn how to hire and fire employees. I can learn how to handle 5-star customer tech support. I can learn how to do like all of this stuff, right? And another best part is I can make all of the mistakes that I want, and it's not even financially hurting me because the financial responsibility isn't on me. It's on the employer, right? And that's, of course, where ethics comes in, because you want to take care of the people around you. Because one other long game vision you have is if you want to build a big business, who is one of the best connects that you could ever have? Who is one of the best and maybe possibly the most influential person that you might have in your circle right now who's probably got money? who's got the finances to be able to fund or to be able to capitalize on something that you might be able to build. It might be your employer. And isn't that funny? So why would you go out of your way? And because I see people that like there'd be like some jokes and stuff like where you have like the employer, they pass by you, maybe you're working on the computer or something, you're probably doodling, you're doodling, you're not really doing nothing. Employer walks by, you look busy. You know, like you look busy. Why would you do that to them? Why would you? Are you a jerk? Is that how you show up in life? Like, so you're a jerk at work and you think you're just magically not going to be a jerk everywhere else? How you do anything is how you do everything. How are you going to win the influence of someone who has the ability to basically push whatever you have into motion as you begin building it? Who has the ability to support you? Who has the ability to provide all of the resources and the network and the influence? Why would you ever push away that person? And when you understand all of this, and you understand that it's a long game, not the short game. Short game is, oh, I get the bills paid this month. Long game is that I'm going to build a financial future and literally take care of all of the people around me who deserve to be taken care of and be free at the same time and have a life too. When you understand that, then when you do your custom resumes and you do your custom cover letters and you go out there and you apply to everyone and you do possibly even custom videos to everyone, not only is that mindset going to assist in your financial future, but it's also going to directly assist in how other people look at you and your subconscious way of acting and the confidence that you bring to the table, to that point where you get all the calls for months for applying for like 48 hours, right? So with all that said, I know that this video is going on a little bit longer, but this isn't one of your traditional videos. I hope you realize that. I hope that you've gotten some value, and I hope that as you begin, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and like click the link in the description. I hope that you really understand that there's something special here, and I as a person, as a human being, can help you take you to that next level. I can help you be able to get into the right networks of people, and I've already got millionaire mentors. I'd love to introduce you to them. So go ahead, find out who I am, click my blog link, find me on Facebook, get connected with me. However you can get connected with me, I will see you on the next video. Take care.